Come on, dude.
Not satisfied. Okay, okay, I have the album. Let's have
Come on,
a look.
dude. Oh, wowee! Oh, bring it on home to you. Hey, dudes and dudettes, what is going on? I'm Jonny Middleton, I'm joined once again by my awesome hard rocking amigo,
Travis Ward.
and welcome to episode 8 of our classic Stone and Crypt album reviewing series on YouTube. And as I alluded to last week, I was really looking forward to this particular review, wasn't you, brother?
Indeed.
And
you positive vibes about it.
It's something I've been looking forward to all week, my brother. I don't know if you felt the same enthusiasm about it.
It's a good album. I'll agree. It's a very good album.
As soon as I saw it, my face lit up. Hence, probably my over-enthusiastic reaction. But you know, that's just me.
In the albums that we've looked
this
at
little thing
so far in this series, I definitely rate this one highly.
I'd say it's more similar along the lines. You know, like the albums covered like already do, like you know, like the Foo Fighters and Stoners. It's more.
This is
much more
definitely
a commercially acceptable album, and loved
in comparison to the last couple of albums we've just done.
Definitely considered classic.
This
I
one more so
I blame this band's like whole entire catalogue.
Yeah, our last couple of albums have been more of a modern classic, would you say?
I'd certainly agree with you. Do you know what else is different? Do you know how like the last couple of albums have been like the band's debut? It's actually like this band's like fifth album.
Yeah.
It sort of makes like a nice little bit of change.
Yeah, I mean the Ozzy Osbourne was his second album, and besides that,
although I'd argue that wouldn't be as classic, but like I said, we're not focusing on
Stone Cold
classics.
Others. Yeah, exactly. Not Stone Cold Classic. What?
And this is Stone Cold. There was reference to Stone Cold Steve Austin. Damn tangents. And in terms of the, you may have noticed a change of Charito's hairstyles for the
yes, I've lost it. This is a wig.
It sort of ties hair like a cool sort of ponytail, very Matt Hardy like. So.
Matt Hardy?
Matt Hardy V1.
Oh, okay. I'm going to say Matt Hardy used to have his hair down.
As well as Jeff Hardy has it in a ponytail quite a lot. My hair isn't long enough for a ponytail yet, so it'll get there. And into the meat and potatoes of the album which I'll be covering in this video for y'all. It's a band, like I said, a lot of people may know, an album that a lot of people love, and it's Brothers in Arms by Dire Straits, everyone. And remember last week, I was saying Bring It On Home to You?
Yeah, referencing Led Zeppelin.
I was going to say a lot of people may thought we were reviewing Led Zeppelin 2.
An excellent album.
Whole lot of love, and this album was like... Heartbreaker.
And Moby Dick.
Which is a part guitar, part drum solo.
John Bonham.
But it's a legend, R.I.P. And this is like, as I mentioned, like, this is the band's like the 5th studio album. It was released in May 1965 on Vertigo Records, dude, which was
13th May, I believe.
I believe so. I wonder if it was Friday the 13th, like Black Sabbath's debut studio album.
I'm not even going to try and think that far back from calendars.
I can look on the internet for like previous dates, like albums came for like Korn or...
on Fridays?
I sort of like which day they were like released on, just for funny.
Okay.
Just for funnies.
For funny.
For funnies. And
for lols.
And this Vertigo Records was initially like an independent label, wasn't it? But it was still like in the 80s when it really started to take up besides just like Bon Jovi.
And Kiss Rush. Finally.
It was hard rock.
Well, it was sold. It was produced through Vertigo Records for most of the world internationally, but in America it was through Warner Brothers
because the track Sultans of Swing really started to elevate the band's status, and the song Sultans of Swing really got in their deal with Warner Brothers.
The previous album, Sultans of Swing,
which featured on their debut studio, it's called Dire Straits. I'd say if you had classics album, if Sultans of Swing was on the sound, because that is definitely
it's one of those memorable guitar-orientated songs which we see a lot in this album.
And Mark Knopfler's guitar is still like a lot of standout aspects of Dire Straits' work. Would you agree, my brother, on that
Definitely.
one?
They're a band which is not shy of experimenting, and you get that in this album. But although this is an album that Mark Knopfler worked towards to get that key sound, that key like popular music sound.
Adding like a second keyboardist or synthesizers.
Keys and
we'll get into the whole like personnel on this album.
Well, I might as well say it now. So we have Mark Knopfler on guitars and lead vocals. We've got John Illsley on bass and vocals.
And both those members were there from the start, dude, when they formed in 1977 in Dartford.
We've got Alan Clark on keyboards.
Not the football player.
Guy Fletcher on synth and backing vocals. Omar Hakim on drums, but the original drummer and carried on after this was Terry Williams.
Not Terry Butler, dude, from Sabbath, either. Just call him Geezer Williams.
Yeah, Geezer Williams, the drummer. He was temporarily replaced for the recording of this album due to him being unsuitable for the desired sound.
They can't like his. All they just play the.
He plays a crescendo on Money for Nothing.
Like that, which is very iconic amongst I'm sure every single person watching videos heard
on the beginning of Money for Nothing.
I can even play that riff on guitar.
How's
it showing it? We don't play the guitar in these videos, do we? Unfortunately.
But he's on after the recording. He comes back for music videos and live tours.
Which is it's sort of, because Omar Hakim's like a session sort of musician based person.
Yeah, they'll just like call him in, record it. Here's your £10.
Terry Williams like the official sort of
definitely the member Dire Straits
of the band. This album was recorded from November 1984 to March 1985 at an associated independent recording studio, which was a thing developed by a Beatles manager called George Martin, which was based in Montserrat, dude, in the Caribbean, wasn't it?
Yes, which is a British Isle apparently.
And Sting was just so happy to walk on. He just performed a cameo on a song.
And so he shares lyrical rights with Mark Knopfler on that song.
And it's like one of two Dire Straits songs to be like not solely credited to Mark Knopfler in terms of the lyrics.
Indeed.
And so this album was produced by both Mark Knopfler and Neil Dorsman, who produced the work with Dire Straits on the 1982 Fox Studio called Love Over Gold.
Indeed. And it was assisted
where Dorsman was the engineer.
It was assisted with engineers Steve Jackson and Bruce Lampol.
I was saying Steve Jackson, very American name.
Very American name.
Oh hi, I'm Steve Jackson. Neil Dorsman actually praised Mark Knopfler because Mark Knopfler was always like a bit of like a stickler for like wanting like better sound quality. Like this album was recorded like a digital Sony 24-track recorder. It was one of the first albums to be direct to the CD market.
Yeah,
CD's just been released in the 1980s.
Analog. This is very digitally orientated album.
And you said it's a benefit to the production on the album.
Oh, definitely. This album has got top quality production, I feel, because a lot of thought went into it because they were in a very small studio. And instruments were.
Didn't they like shove instruments like in the control room or
the drums were in a corner. The bass was recorded in like a vocal booth.
And the microphones were all over the place.
Yeah,
but this is benefits on the song Money for Nothing
especially
again.
with the guitars, yes.
To get the ZZ Top sound, because obviously Billy Gibbons was a big influence on Mark Knopfler's own.
And with this whole sound, all music has stated that this brought the atmospheric sort of vibe towards the album.
There's a lot of atmosphere in this track, especially on tracks 4 and 5.
Atmospheric albums around, to be honest.
And the final song.
Indeed. And this album is...
I wasn't initially a fan of this, but the whole atmosphere really... It like gives the whole like grandiose feel to the album.
I find it a good concluding music to the album. But this album is very highly rated. It was highly rated as soon as it came out. It didn't take a couple of years to get recognised.
And it's the 7th biggest selling album in the UK history.
Indeed. Like
behind
albums like Thriller. I'm not sure about it. 21 by Adele. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band by the Beatles.
Sgt. Pepper's so marvellous, dude.
It was out before the list.
Oh my god! Wow, you've really done your extensive research list, brother.
So this album went
I tip my metaphorical hat to you.
The album went to #1 on the Billboard 200.
It went to #1 in 18 different countries, including Spain, France, Portugal,
a lot
Australia.
of European countries, yeah.
Australia's not European.
It was the biggest... No, I was going to go and move on to other countries as well. But it was the biggest selling album in Australia in 1985.
And did it still non-consecutive, like 30 weeks?
It was 34 weeks non-consecutively. Non-consecutive weeks, 34 weeks at #1. Holland, it stayed at 269 weeks in the charts.
Does non-consecutive mean like it was boosted up the chart and went back up to #1?
Yeah, that's what it means, yeah.
So it's like #1 sporadically.
UK, it spent 228 weeks in the charts. US, it was #1 for 9 weeks and never moved.
So that was consecutive.
Yeah, and it's so far 13 times platinum in the UK and 9 times platinum in the US, and has sold over 30 million records worldwide.
I think that's true, brother. Definitely.
Money for Nothing went to #1 when it came out. Other singles such as So Far Away went to #19 for the charts, and Walk of Life went to 7th in the charts. This is in the Billboard Hot 100 in America.
And you're alluding to Walk of Life, that this album contains a lot of different musical elements like rock, country, blues in there,
and a bit of jazz as well.
Especially on the more atmospheric numbers, which we shall get into.
But also, backing up with the atmospheric aspect, in 2005 it was awarded the Best Surround Sound Album Award.
That is so cool, dude.
Which is ironically 20 years after it was released.
And there's also a special edition album version, wasn't there?
Increase in production, I guess, with the re-releases and the remasters.
Mark Knopfler's always trying for better production, dude.
Yeah, true. And I was going to say...
Praised by Neil Dorsman.
Yeah, true. You've got an increased sense of pop songcraft in this album. such as the guitar riff in Money for Nothing.
But the guitar still stand out a lot to me in this too. So like that's it's one of like the key Dire Straits sonic elements.
You get some like catchy,
in my opinion,
high up tempo songs such as Walk of Life.
Especially like the keys at the beginning, and they really allude to the atmosphere. Like
you get
some of
a variation of apparently melodies from Sultans of Swing. Would you agree?
I'd say it says the guitar tone.
Especially the guitar, because
Walk of Life
oriented, yeah.
The blues guitar Walk of Life is similar to Sultans of Swing.
But then you've also got down tempo songs such as Why Worry,
which I felt to be incredibly cheesy. I'll get into this reason.
Apparently is in the style of the Everly Brothers, but I've never listened to them.
Not the Beverly Brothers, dude.
No.
Not the Beverly Hillbillies.
No.
Which Money for Nothing, Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh, good song.
I know how much you like Weird Al Yankovic.
See, here's the thing. The song
that was silly prior knowledge that's Weird Al.
Money for Nothing was parodied by Weird Al for the song Beverly Hillbillies. Not in that length, it's only about 3 minutes for Weird Al.
Was this done in the 80s, dude?
It was in 1989 for the cult classic UHF.
Which was like a soundtrack sort of thing.
Soundtrack to the album, to the film UHF. Which stars Weird Al Yankovic.
So Weird Al sort of like basically like soundtrack the movie, dude.
Yeah, he wrote the movie and made the
So it's like a comedy sort of movie.
Yeah. I mean, there's also the track UHF, Harry...
Well, I'm sure like UHF was like a TV channel. In America.
I think that's what the film's about, though. I think that's what the film's about, like a TV channel. Because you have the song like Spatula City, which is like an advert.
Spatula City? Yeah, SpongeBob.
No, it's like a couple of seconds song about spatulas. Best song on the album.
A bit like that hamster song then, dude.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's on that album.
They must have had a thing like doing this little like cameo.
It's just like a comedy cult. Weird Al Yankovic inspired. Because he wrote it.
Wow, me. That dude loves that sort of comedy aspect, and it's a 9-track affair. It's like Mates changed to the albums that have been coming recently. It's like I think like 12 stories. So there was like because like 9, it was like typical like 70s and stuff. I wanted to do like 8, so I have like 8 and 9 tracks on your album.
Or just 5, if you're Pink Floyd.
If you talk to there is a Dire Straits album, so like 5 tracks, and could like Love Over Gold. It's like the intro
which
tracks, like
Neil
11 minutes.
Neil Dorsman previously worked on, which I think came out in 1982.
Love Over Gold, yes, dude.
Yeah.
It definitely came out in 1982.
Yeah.
It was about 4, because like some of these songs like shortened, dude, were like the vinyl version of the album.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't fit on the side of vinyl. Because if you said like vinyl's going to take like 40 minutes on the side of vinyl.
There's 5 tracks on side A, and then 4 tracks on side B. And
that could be the case.
It's true. Like you'll see a lot of greatest hits albums, and they've been shot as down for them as well, which is funny. I think it's just to get more songs on the album, to be honest. Even though you can do double disc.
Well,
there's plenty of songs to do double disc on.
I think it was sort of like because like to get all the songs like on one side of vinyl. But it's you may like I know like these edited versions, but like because you really like could be like more like radio friendly.
Especially Money for Nothing seems that shortened down to about 5 minutes.
That's probably like the edit version played on MTV.
For the video as well.
Yeah,
but I mean for
the whole MTV's load
for the radio it'll be shortened down as well.
Yes, that would probably be the case for them. And yeah, as I was saying, like the few, because like initially it was like only 2 members of the like initial piece, like the initial lineup was band everyone. Like David Knopfler, who was Matt Knopfler's brother, left the band during recording their third studio album, I think, to creative differences.
Yeah.
And Terry Williams joined later, or Geezer Williams.
And with the artwork of this album, it's a very dynamic picture which is very recognisable because it features Knopfler's 1937
resonator guitar.
A National Style O resonator guitar, which was discontinued in 1941.
I think you're saying you like use this like another project as well, dude, like further on down the line from Dire Straits.
The Brewers...
The Booze Brothers.
The Booze Brothers with their album, The Brewers Drum.
Not the Blues Brothers.
It features the same guitar, but it's like being edited and being bent or something, like it's melted, like a Salvador Dali sort of
so
painting.
It's like left it out in the sun for too long.
Yeah,
it might have like morphed to the fretboard.
Yeah, which I think that album was released in 1989, but had been released a lot earlier.
The same year as the Beverly Hillbillies then, dude. UHF Weird Al Yankovic album. And the name Dire Straits came from a suggestion made by musician, flatmates, original drummer and percussionist Pick Withers. Well, it was like the last to go from the original lineup before Terry Williams came in. Obviously, Omar Hakim played a big role in this album, what Terry Williams did.
True that, yeah.
Debbie,
I think it's Bully from Rolling Stone magazine, said that this album was a carefully crafted effort, beautifully produced, but lacks the ache of his previous soundtracks from 1983 and 1984.
Yeah, she felt like blessed, like the whole album did, like thematically. Like,
but
you said it felt like safe, didn't you? Sure
it does feel safe because he's worked towards this pop music that he's been like trying to craft towards.
Because
I mean, you listen to songs like Romeo and Juliet by Dire Straits. There's a lot of diversity in those songs.
About Tunnel of Love or Private Investigations.
Oh, I'm still listening to
progressive.
But there's still a lot of guitar oriented with like recognisable licks, very iconic licks of guitar in this album.
I love the tone of Matt Knopfler's guitar. It's very bluesy. Because blues guitar is just my favourite.
In 1986, the album was awarded 2 Grammys, one being Best British Album. Oh no, and it also won Best British Album in the 1987 Brit Awards, which I followed every year, so why didn't it have it in 1986? Which is consecutive years now, I don't know.
Unless it became like more revered, like, you know, in terms of like 1980.
In 2000, Q Magazine put it as 51st position on the top 100 British albums, and in 2013, Rolling Stone put it at 351st on their greatest albums of all time out of a list of 500 albums.
And that is so cool. That is so cool.
I just feel like, even though there might be less diversity.
Alluding to Money for Nothing again, dude. That actually received like growing like best group performance or duo with vocal.
True, with Sting.
Yeah, with Sting, who just happened to be a monster at the time of the recording. The band thought, "Hey, dude, come in here and play some parts on this song."
Sting, if you don't know, was in the popular 70s band
The Police.
Indeed.
Take My Breath Away.
Yeah.
No, it's is that the song, dude?
Yeah. Take My Breath Away by Police.
But that's like the other artist in the first Take My Breath Away. Is it Berlin?
Yeah.
Or that movie called Top Gun.
I'm trying to think of any other Police songs. There's some popular ones.
I don't know. We'll look into after this video. Time is short.
Of course.
Iron Man, Number of the Beast references that.
I just feel like, even though there might be a lack of diversity to previous efforts from Knopfler, it was never a person to play it safe, because there's a massive list of instruments. You've got your standard instruments I've named.
You know what I'd argue, dude? Probably like why this album's like so more is more revealed than other releases, because it has like more accessible edge about it. So it's like the whole like pop tenses. Like, even though like some of these songs like really long, like, there's not many to change.
They've got singles which have stood out, but I guess it's just this whole album flows really well. It's like a very consistent edge.
Probably just like Matt Knopfler's guitar and the whole vocal style.
That synth as well helps carry on, and keys.
The keyboard's very.
I just feel like.
Well, that's repetition, that's what makes it popular.
He's not someone to play it safe, because you've got sax, you've got trumpet, you've got horn, you've got vibraphone, string.
But the thing was, like, the song I did it in a way, like, these instruments, like, you know, they don't like bog down the whole like general sound now, so like keep it, you know, not much general diversity going on, I suppose.
I guess so, yeah.
And the album episode of the track So Far Away, which was, according to Wikipedia, it was like the lead single, like, released from the album, like, UK and Europe, and its B-side was Walk of Life, which was a fellow album track, which I believe you were discussing to me earlier about this.
Which later became a single itself.
Thing. And I think like Walk of Life even like performed better in like commercial charts.
Oh yeah, because I mentioned earlier, Walk of Life finished 7th in the charts. So Far Away finished 19th in the charts.
It's probably just like very instantly recognised like keyboard melody, which features in Walk of Life. And but the thing with So Far Away, like I wasn't initially like a fan of this song. I felt it was a bit. It's a bit boring, but I would like to say I really like the blues italics from.
I'd say it's one of the more atmospheric songs on the album.
It doesn't like really stand out, say as much like some of the other tracks on the album. It's just like it's a way of like introduce like the album to people, like, but not giving too much away about what's to come. It's got like a soft beginning and a soft end. This album. It's got.
I know it's like this. You get a lot of like this nice, calm, relaxing, atmospheric vibe throughout the whole album.
It's just especially shown on this song too.
It's just I feel like. It's a very 80s sounding song with this smooth rock guitar.
Especially the drums, dude. The whole drums.
Bit of an American vibe to it, 80s glam sort of vibe. I felt.
It's like a song you might like if you like it in a restaurant. You know, they might play something like this. So it's the drums.
The drums and piano help give you that 80s vibe.
From Omar Hakim, not Geezer Williams.
Very pop. Orientated, nothing out of the ordinary. So I said that they're not afraid to be diverse, but this is one of the songs where it's more like pop orientated for radio friendly, I guess.
It's quite a long song, dude. It's like 3 like main guitar parts repeated throughout.
Yeah, it is quite long. No, it's only about 5 minutes, isn't it? Just over 5 minutes for this song.
Which is sort of like, because most radio songs like 3 minutes.
Yeah, and in comparison to the rest of this album, this is one of the shortest tracks.
If we compare especially the album, definitely. Like, it says like commercial, it's probably like a bit
This song's more memorable for its guitar, I guess, like you're saying, you like the blues rock guitar.
I just love the blues rock guitar in general, dude, to be fair.
It's just one of these songs which show the great emphasis on production and sound. Whether it doesn't,
especially on the guitars.
Whether it's pretty consistent with the beat of the song, the production, and it sounds brilliant.
Especially I put it on this stereo, like because I started to like this song more and I put it on the stereo, like better sound quality. Probably that's the way this album's like meant to be listened to, doing like a better sound system, so Matt Knopfler's trying like a better sound production wise.
Well, it won that Surround Sound Award, so...
This is Surround Sound, dude. It's my stereo. And it's very panoramic, goes around the room. And I love the pan music guitar for like Matt Knopfler. Don't it's like sing the verse line, they're saying you're so far away from me. And well, this is a song that my dad really enjoys too. Just thought I'd throw it out there. But it's just like a cool little way to open the album, like not giving too much flavour. It's certainly a track like a lot of people latch on to.
It's just one of those people. It's very accessible.
Featureless keys as well, doesn't it do like that? Sort of like the traditional to die straight sound.
Yeah, true.
Arguably the most popular and well-known song of this album.
Definitely. It's just
if you're like a non-Dire Straits fan.
It's that guitar riff.
It's the song you would instantly recognise this album.
I mean, it starts off with this synth with Sting saying, "I want my MTV."
It's a whole Billy Gibbons, like with a microphone like facing the floor. Like the version you hear on the album says how it's set up in the studio. They're not like overdubs or any fancy studio.
Knopfler was trying to model the sound of Billy Gibbons, who had already been very popular in the 70s with ZZ Top.
Hence why I played a Les Paul in the video, dude.
And Billy Gibbons is well known for playing a Les Paul.
But you know what Matt Knopfler likes in terms of Billy Gibbons?
Yeah.
He likes the beard.
True.
There is not enough beard for Matt Knopfler to truly model himself on Billy Gibbons.
And it's like, he wanted his trademark tone. He spoke to Billy Gibbons, but I don't even think Billy Gibbons told him anything.
And this is where Sting just like casually is walking around and the guy said, "Hey dude, come sing this song."
And so like it was going to be a Les Paul through a Marshall amp with a wah-wah pedal, but the actual recording is a Les Paul going through a Laney amplifier, most notably known
by Black Sabbath, Tony Iommi.
And the sound is coloured. Apparently coloured.
It's very colourful.
Yeah, it's coloured by the accidental position of two
accidents.
Shure SM57 microphones, which are like these small black ones which you can put like a sound thing around.
Do they always make the instruments in the studio, dude? It's like get that more loud.
You've got to get the sound because the wires go back to the recording studio.
I know Jimmy Page or something like it. Like set like an amp, like a microphone away from like the amp. It was like the first instance of that.
When I recorded, I had a microphone. That was my amp.
Ah, and was it loud, brother?
No, you don't have it that.
And I know you wear headphones.
Yeah, you wear headphones to hear it yourself. I think the music's coming through to me though.
Yeah. I've never I've never recorded in the studio, so
the lyrics.
That's what he brings to these reviews.
The lyrics of this song are a working class man watching music videos
and commenting on what he sees.
And this is also the first song to have been aired on MTV Europe in 1987 over the irony.
It was the first station to be launched, and because the reference to MTV in the song did.
Yeah.
From Sting.
And so it's a guy who works in a hardware store department and not.
Wait a minute, I have to throw another Weird Al reference in here, dude. Hardware store and Poodle Hat.
2003. Knopfler.
Does that reference?
And also his new song,
The Beverly Hillbillies.
No. Also his new song, Handy.
Is that Weird Al?
Yeah. From Iggy Azalea's Fancy. I've never heard the original.
Is that his latest album?
Yeah, from Mandatory Fun. I'm expecting his name to be in the album because he does that sometimes because it's one that was Apocalypse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I got it mixed up.
He doesn't do that all the time.
Yeah, Mandatory Fun. Weird Al Yankovic's first #1 album. Good on him. Knopfler was in New York at the time and he walked into a hardware store and there's a delivery guy there delivering boxes.
It was like used language doodlers, like used by his piece
because there was this wall of televisions and they were all playing
it's not like in the video.
MTV. It's debatable who was on. But what did the hardware guy say?
Something about Hawaiian noises and that ain't working.
Yeah, and so Knopfler liked what he was hearing. He asked for a pen and paper and started writing down what the man was saying and using his lyrics.
And didn't wasn't like reference to Motley Crue in here, dude?
Potentially.
Was it Tommy Lee or Nikki Sixx or something?
Nikki Sixx, I think, said it could have been about them because obviously they were big at the time. They were on MTV, and
because you can see the fans gone said if I think everything's
ironically about this song, Knopfler was anti-video, but this has got one of the
Eddie Vedder.
I guess, and it's. But then again, it was anti-video, but MTV really wanted this video.
Well, didn't you say he was like persuaded by his girlfriend?
Yeah, apparently, because he said no first when they flew out to see him in Europe. But this video is iconic because it's the first
claymation, dude. It's used by just Tool.
Yeah,
they're just vicarious. Sober.
No, but this is early computer animation video.
Oh, it will be vicarious, and that's CGI.
This is one of the first to use it, and it reminds me of like a mid-90s Windows game with the animation, with the use of polygons.
Windows 96, polygons, Resident Evil.
But
you said that game's been re-released this year, do better graphics.
This year was it, or was it like next year?
I don't know.
Yeah, Resident Evil 1 is an awesome game. We've mentioned it again
because it's so iconic, much like the video from Money for Nothing.
And so the video was made by Ian Pearson and Gavin Blair. I think I've got here.
Gavin Blair, any relation to you know who?
No.
Okay.
And they later on made Rainmaker Studios, who make a lot
Rainmaker's
of Barbie doll video games.
Barbie dolls?
Yeah, not Barbie doll video games.
Oh, the ladies will love that. They like
Of course. Yeah. Whoa, no need for the sexism, dude.
Sorry. Well, I'm just stereotyping.
Yeah, and this song is also controversial due to the word faggot being used 3 times in the second verse.
Something like, look at the little faggot with the earring and the moustache.
That little faggot's a millionaire.
But then it's based about like how those sort of people get money for nothing.
Yeah, but
chicks for free.
it's because Mark Knopfler...
It's also derogative for calling ladies chicks. I don't agree with calling ladies chicks. I agree with calling them ladies. Ladies and women.
Mark Knopfler was a person who wrote in first person, like he wrote as the person he was writing about as the hardware store guy.
He
that's what he was saying.
with them.
But people are taking offense, like radio stations won't play it, gay magazines are getting offense.
And this is also another song that's short on the violin, it's like 8 minutes.
Yeah, it was shown to about 5 minutes, like the video version.
It's because the whole intro, it's like, it builds up and builds up until you get those like...
But apparently in later live versions, Knopfler changed it from faggot to Queenie, which is pretty much got the same aspect.
It was probably due to the
nature.
fact that like, probably might not...
But it's one of those words which he wasn't using it as a direct... attack on the gay. He was using it as a word.
It was trying to say the word faggot. Although it's a faggot a fruit.
He was using it as a word, not as a direct attack.
I'm sure faggot's a fruit, dude.
No, faggot's that like meat or something, isn't it?
It's
a
very, very derogative term these days. Do you think Mark Knopfler was an instigator of being a derogative term, dude? Oh, it may be, so people shot him down for it.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. It was like Canadian radio stations, some were playing and some weren't, and it was just like... Oh no, there's some radio stations in like Halifax or something were playing the uncut version.
It's not a song you hear much on the radio, but it's certainly a song you hear if you watch music videos on
definitely.
TV. Or MTV.
It's like the music video reminded me of the late 80s track Let's Get Rocked by Def
I
Leppard
like
with that animation.
Too. You
I think it's like 80s. I'm sure, because I always thought they were more modern because of the animation.
Is that
but
from
it's
Pyromania?
I haven't got it.
Oh, one of those albums.
It's on an album which has a lot of recognisable Def Leppard. Well, okay, whatever. Hysteria's in the intro anyway, so...
You've probably already seen it.
Yeah, if you watch the video. Then so let's get into
let's
get into the song itself. It builds up with the synth, moving into Sting's MTV, which then has the drums, which you mentioned was from Terry, and then it kicks into the dynamic guitar riff, which has elements throughout the whole song. One of those consistent sounding songs. With, like what a certain instrument will help. Like the previous song was the beat. This is the guitar. I will let you talk now.
And you get Mark Knopfler's like more talking style vocals, and like the guitar change stage. I should have learned to play the guitar. It's sort of like the very
very pop, very accessible, very rock orientated. It's more of a narrative vocals as well from.
Especially the empathize with the first person hardware store dude.
Yeah. And then the guitar is one of the main focuses in this song because in the later half, because if you look at the 8-minute perspective,
the
later half is all
drums at the beginning, the drums grew out there, so like the 8 times first show and so far away.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think
just about the guitar and the drums
with the production, it's held together very tightly.
The keys are more prevalent in the beginning, I feel. As the song progresses, it becomes more focused on the guitars and the drums. I think just like. This song is much more emphasis on keys in the beginning. It's
another one of those recognisable riffs from this album.
And you know how I was saying, dude, like when you go into a guitar shop and one of the main riffs stairway.
No.
This maybe one of the first.
The keyboardist, you think?
This is one of the first songs the keyboards may play when the first
the song after this would be another recognisable tryout song as well. But don't play Stairway to Heaven. In Chop.
Or Enter Sandman, I'll Smoke on Water, I'll Trying to Be Alone.
Yeah, no recognisable.
Don't play generic rock riffs in rock stars.
You'll get kicked out.
It's done being done before.
Yeah, I said this was a...
Not Under the Bridge, dude. Could you play Under the Bridge?
Oh, I guess that's...
That's hard.
No, that's not. Oh, except if we look at the alternative week bloopers. I didn't play it for it, I'll play off the top of my head.
I need tabs.
Recognisable melody on the synthesizer, I think I'd say it was more than keys.
But I like the bluesy guitar from Knopfler in the song. It's like the first song where
it's a synthesizer
really
organ.
Comes to the fore.
No, if you want to be specific with the key instrument.
Organ. I feel it's organ. It's very yes-like.
Yeah.
It's like a wall of keyboards.
I've said here that it's a less guitar-focused song in comparison to the rest of the album.
The guitar's still a lot lower in the mix, but if you really listen
to it, it's very country. What's a country infused?
There's another song that's very country infused.
Oh, no.
It's basically about.
It's got a bit of a dancey vibe, I guess, as well to it with the synth later on.
It's again another song that like a lot of people associate with Dire Straits' Walk of Life.
Yeah.
It's basically about a bus skiff. Who plays and like down in the tunnels trying to make ends meet to quote the lyrics.
The video's got the busker in it as well.
And he plays songs such as like.
It's another pretty consistent song. Oh, he's wearing the same shirt as Mark Knopfler in the video.
It's like a checkered sort of shirt, dude.
I've seen bits of the video.
It's basically, he plays songs like I Got a Woman, which is the lyrics in the lyrics. He also plays songs just like What I'd Say and Mac the Knife.
Cool.
Mac the Knife. It's like the Scottish Mac the Knife. It's like a trumpet, isn't it, from Randy Brecker?
Well, yeah, trumpet then saxophone. And
it's like, is this the sound where you got into styles?
This is what you were just saying about a key. This is more about the sax. This will be one of those riffs people play when they're trying out a saxophone.
So if you're a saxophonist, like is this some band from playing? Like,
I don't know. I don't know if it's got that same like.
We don't know much about trumpets.
No, saxophone. Brass instruments. It's just that this
brass.
Shut up! With that sound, that sound I pronounce posh, but
oh yes, absolutely.
I'd say it's not got that same appeal like Led Zeppelin's "Stairway to Heaven" has.
Well, it's a bit interesting guitar and trumpet.
This is a very jazz-oriented song.
This is like one of the first songs they have to really, focus on the atmosphere.
Oh, definitely. No, I said the first couple of songs focus on atmosphere.
Well, I feel like this track and the next track really do focus on the atmosphere.
Oh,
they're more slower.
Yeah.
They're not as upbeat. Like, they're much lively.
So Far Away is very slow.
It's like Martin Knopfler's like calm down after jumping around playing Money for Nothing and Walk of Life.
I don't know if you're the one who jumped around a lot. This one shows
more
because of the use of like different instruments. It's got that more creativity to the use of brass instruments,
especially all the instrumentation, like you said, all the brass.
And
instruments.
then the keys become more present further on in this song. Like the saxophone drops and then the keys come up with the guitar.
But I feel this song wasn't the song that really stood out to me personally. Out of the open farm, that's the Money for Nothing and Walk of Life, my favourites. Both like the upbeat, melodic, popular nature.
I just really like that smooth jazz.
Each to their own. If you enjoy smooth jazz, I will not take that away from you. Because jazz drumming is awesome. Omar Hakeem's actually a jazz drummer. He works like a session jazz musician.
Jimmy Chamberlain.
Is Jimmy Chamberlain a jazz musician?
Oh, of course, yes.
Jazz drumming is awesome. All the jazz guitar's cool too. Which I feel is incredibly cheesy. I know lyrically, dude, it's a beautiful love song. It's perfect for singing to your partner or whatever. But it's just cheesy with the lyrics. It's another very atmospheric song. It's very slow. And Matt Knopfler's vocals very quieter.
It's got this soft picking guitar, very slow vibe. It's more
romanticised. It's very long.
It's over 8 minutes long. Calm, atmospheric. It's one of it's like the rest of the album. But
it's one of those songs you feel like riding like your loved one in a car through like the desert or something. Like very slowly.
Yeah, it's not that many vocals as well. A lot of instrumental parts into the song. It's just this nice relaxing midsection, I guess.
Does it have sax in it, dude? This feels like very songs have sax.
No, I don't think it does.
I think there's remnants in this song. I think the song Rotten Apple by Alice in Chains like the strong or something fixed in that whole vibe of that song in a way.
Jar of Flies.
Whereas, like you're saying, it's like, there's a part, I think it could be like the keyboards, and alludes to Resident Evil 1, again, it's like the sound you may hear from like when you first meet Rebecca Chambers, like it's just a very sort of atmospheric number, especially like the keys. The keys are very prevalent, like the tracks 4 and 5 do, they help to create the atmosphere.
I guess you have like a dynamic instrument on each track, one which stands out more than the rest.
You get Money for Nothing with the guitars and Walk Life with the synth, you get these with all the keys.
And the trumpet.
Definitely the trumpet. The trumpet, Leon Lace's tricks. Trumpet.
Yeah, and then this is more, I guess, synth. One of the more experimental tracks on this album.
It sounds very Middle Eastern, dude. It felt like I was going along with Griffin now.
No, well, I guess
I felt like I was listening to Nightbird's Cairo by Madness.
The instruments are of like a Southern American Latino vibe.
Like a place like Ecuador and Colombia, as you alluded to.
I guess Colombia. I guess I was going to say like Peru.
But it's considered to be very different to like the Vastro bands up here. Just what you said, it's like Latino beats and flutes.
Yeah,
it's got flute in it, dude.
Yeah, flute at the beginning.
Does the flute stand out in this song?
It does, yes. And I'd say that the steel drums at the beginning like show a lot of diversity. To me, it's probably not, but to me, it sounds like steel drums.
You still know about his drums, don't you? Like steel drums, tom-toms, hi-hats, snares. I do now. Oh.
And then and then like you get the guitar trying to play in unison with the flute, I guess, with the riffs.
The guitar's like very subtle, but it certainly sounds good. This latest song, the guitar's very subtle.
This song's about guerrilla mercenary warfare with lyrics such as "We're ready to pay with our lives if we must."
There's 3 songs I've said that focus a lot of like sort of war themes.
This is like a Vietnam war theme, I guess, with the guerrilla tactics sort of stuff.
It could be.
I get that sort of feel. I guess with that forest feel then with the team.
That's like the whole Middle Eastern vibe. Feels like I'm listening to a Sepultura album.
You know Egypt's not in the Middle East.
No, it's in Asia.
No, it's not in Asia.
It's in Africa.
Yeah.
There we go. And it's not really a song. It's more like an instrumentalistic dude. Like it's just based around like ambience, the whole Middle Eastern. But like I said, guerrilla warfare, like it could be based in those countries, like sort of people hiding ready to shoot.
It's also got some brass instruments on it. We get a guitar solo as well at the later half of the instrumental. And this song was also used on the American crime drama in the 80s, Miami Vice, on like 2 episodes or something.
It seems
which I think Brothers in Arms was used on as well.
Brothers in Arms in a song which references warfare. And it was strange when I first played through this album, first time like the atmospheric songs, they all seem to like morph. When it was like I really paid attention to them, like they really stood out as like individual entities.
Acoustic songs, like country vibe.
This is a song that really sounds very country, especially the guitar picking,
yeah.
Felt like I was listening to some Sugar by Kid Rock.
In around like 1 minute 20 seconds into the song, it like crashes with a crescendo from the synth.
It's like it emphasised like the whole the man's too big, the man's too strong.
It just reminded me of when in the Court of the Crimson King when they say King when it hits. Just like that loud sound appears out of nowhere.
No, I think it's cool, dude. I like how they allude back to our previous reviews.
I like that.
We're doing this. I'll link it all.
Because we have that information, I guess, and that knowledge.
We remember little bits. We forget a lot of things, but we remember little bits.
And see, this is one of the songs which don't stand out as much, but the later half of the album is that less accessible, less pop culture orientated.
So basically, like on the second song, it's not songs that wouldn't hear on the radio as much.
I guess not. Besides Brothers in Arms, but I mean, I like it though. I like the diversity.
Yeah, when you think of Dire Straits, people don't really mention like Ride Across the River or
remember they used this in that song. No, you don't get it.
No, unless like the proper die-hard Dire Straits fans, I'll listen to the album and enjoy them. That's probably the only way to hear those songs.
Definitely.
I think it's cool, like the whole country vibe adds diversity to the album. And it's a song that stands out to me personally. Although you say it's not one of your favourites.
I say it's not one of my favourites on the album, but I do enjoy it.
Which is more of an accessible number. It's not as long as about 3 minutes, and it's about like
picks up with this funky bass.
That's what I like, how the bass, like
funky song. See, this one's different as well. Like now, the instrument which stands out throughout this song is the bass.
Because before, like the bass hadn't really. Jonny Halsey?
Yeah, Jonny.
Sure, it's Jonny Halsey on bass. But anyways, it's cool how the bass first really gets it rear its head on this song in many ways.
Indeed.
Matt Knopfler can't get no answer to it for the blues, dude.
Yeah, I said this song is like a smooth guitar with some of those dynamic 80s drums as well to help mix with the funky bass. And then it's just I've said
Matt Knopfler's vocals are very echo-like, bit of diversity in there.
Yeah.
On the current album, his vocals very like talking like. I could say that Matt Knopfler. Narrative, empathising.
Indeed.
With that person on it. It's a very iconic track amongst Dire Straits fans, you know. It goes back to like the atmosphere of like Your Less Stricken White Word, isn't it, dude? It's very atmospheric, especially when it begins. And the guitar really drives the atmosphere.
It's a very nice way to conclude this album, I feel.
It sent chills down my spine at the top of my neck.
There's 2 different recordings of this song. One's 6 minutes 55 and one's...
It's more like downtrodden themes, it's another reference to
and
war.
One's 6 or 5 minutes. I think there's different like guitar parts.
I'm sure it sounds like edited to like the vinyl version. That was due to its length, about 8 minutes. About 6 minutes.
This song was covered in 2007 by Metallica at the Bridge School Benefit in California.
And I did a James Hetfield cover of this like I should.
Which is an annual concert for children suffering with medical imperatives.
Oh, bless them. I guess it's it is an upbeat sort of song, but it does sound very down with the instrumentation.
It might sound a lot more upbeat with Metallica.
They probably do like a metal version of it.
That'd be cool. It starts off with the atmospheric synth guitar.
You say that band you have a Pink Floyd song?
I said because there's like softer, quieter vocals. It reminded me Roger Waters in certain aspects on the Wall album.
And this is another song that like the guitars more subtly like comes in like little parts like diddle-a-ding when like Matt Knopfler singing the verses.
Some of the songs where Matt Knopfler's using his Stratocaster, he sometimes reminds me of the way David Gilmour played his Stratocasters, especially in like some songs which aren't on this album. But here I'm getting another Pink Floyd reference.
It's quite cool.
And this is one of those nice. Blues rock sort of numbers on the album.
Certainly with the guitar, like throughout the song, and it's like cool little blues
with the nice vibe. It's like it like reinforces that consistent vibe. It fits well with the earlier. So, I mean, like if you got this album right, and you took the first couple of songs and then put this song, you could have like a 5-track album, and it would have flowed.
If you take like the whole album's like main highlights.
Yeah. Like the first 4 tracks and then put this on.
The guitar tone is phenomenal for the song. I love this song, dude. Even though it's my best time,
that production reinforcement.
And I wasn't really a fan of like Your Stricken and Why Worry, but the whole atmosphere, the guitars, the keys, really make the song stand out to me personally.
It's just it's another relaxing song with the Les Paul standing out, just like Money for Nothing. Yeah, I think it's a dynamic album from the 80s using a lot of music skills, and it just stands out to me.
It deserves its 30 million copies worldwide sold, which makes it the 7th largest selling album in the UK.
I will agree that it deserves its title and recognition.
And that's why I'd give it a nice... But what would you say is your favourite song from this album?
My favourite song for this album, I'd probably have to pick Money for Nothing, but I'd say Walk of Life and... I guess River as well.
Yeah, I'd say my favourite's probably like Money for Nothing, like you, as well as like One World as well. Maybe Brothers in Arms. Brothers in Arms is just a beautiful song.
And I'd say I'd give this song an 8.5 just because
I'd give it a 9.
I like the flow. It's really good. That's what gives me a high rate. It's just that some of like the accessible nature of it, how it's pretty consistent throughout. It drops it for me.
It's like even though like these songs are quite long in length, there's a lot of parts that are repeats to how accessible edge and make it extremely popular amongst a lot of people.
And so you've given it a 9, I've given it an 8.5.
It's because I don't enjoy Why Worry, it's because it's a bit too cheesy. It's got a nice atmosphere.
I like its atmosphere.
I know what it's trying to achieve, but it's just lyrically it's a bit too cheesy.
Yeah.
I'm all up for this romanticism stuff, I'm the sweetest guy in town, but basically. And on the album artwork, everyone, you can see it's myself holding the artwork once again, seeing as Travito sort of didn't want to borrow his copy of the album for personal reasons, and he's playing a very soothing melody on the guitar back there in the background, but it's a bit diverse to our video series. It's basically on the front, you see like Matt Knopfler's 90-7, what's the name of these guitars? Resonator guitars, like Style Zero. This was discontinued in 1941, and on the back we see the track listing with the songs, fits like the whole colour scheme of the peach and the light blue. We also get on the side, it says the name of the album and everything, and if we open it up, we see the shiny disc. I don't know if it's like the original disc, since we bought this from Amazon, it's like a fairly recent issue.
It's a remastered edition.
Was it like released, this like the 1996 edition did, it's released on the rest of Dire Straits' catalogue. And we see a very sort of Rush-like thing, like all the band's other albums, so maybe that really falls to a remastered idea, like you said. And if we take the booklet out, everyone, it basically, it shows what's the name of these guitars again, dude? A resonator guitar again, called the Clouds. This image become very iconic, hasn't it? Certainly. See the track list on the back again, and if we take the book out, it's like Brothers in Arms and Appreciation, so it's like a remastered version of the album. And we just basically get song lyrics, typical of a conventional commercial popular album, isn't it, dude? Featuring lyrics, so you can sing along to all your favourite songs from this album. So I'm sure a lot of people do like a lot of songs to this album.
Especially the lyrics in Money for Nothing.
If we want to be controversial about this. The same guitars here is also actually an artist painted by a German artist whose name escapes me. So yeah, and then we're so better see the German guitar again and the booklets. So, and that is the artwork peeps. And here we go, everyone, the moment that we love the most about our series, Picking Out of the Hat of...
Picking Out of the Hat.
The infamous Picking from the Hat, as was labelled in that video. I think it's alright to say the Picking from this series, it's no longer our new series going for like 8 weeks.
We have no idea, 2 months into the series now, we have no idea what it's going to be. I will cover your eyes and here we go.
We are ready, dude. What is it going to be for week 9? We are steadfastly approaching double figures. I am intrigued and scared at the same time, because
That's good.
I just am.
And so the album is going to be... Oh, you got it? Yep, cool. Ooh, that's interesting. Oh, I see.
Oh, baby, this is going to be interesting. This features my favourite song from this band, so...
Oh, really?
Yes, dude. Yes, and
Oh, really, though?
Yes, dude.
Oh, really, though?
Oh, yeah, oh, really?
Oh, really?
I used to love it when I was younger, and I still love it today.
Awesome.
And so this has been Classic Southern Crypts episode 8, everyone. Thank you very much for watching, and so next time, I've been Jonny Middleton.
And I've been Travis Ward.
Stay safe, stay strong, and we shall see you all in the future forever. Peace and much love.